The night was ink black, the moon veiled behind a shroud of dark clouds. At the heart of a forgotten village, an abandoned manor stood with its windows shattered and doors creaking, a relic of a bygone era. A group of friends, drawn by tales of the supernatural, decided to explore this eerie site. Among them was Sarah, skeptical but curious, and Omar, who had heard whispers of Jinn from his grandmother. As they entered the manor, an eerie silence enveloped them. The air was thick with the scent of decay, and every step they took echoed ominously. Sarah, clutching her torch, led the way, her heart pounding with each creak of the floorboards. Omar followed closely, his eyes darting around nervously. The others, a mix of intrigue and fear, formed a shaky line behind. On the walls, strange symbols glowed faintly, runes and markings that Omar recognized from his grandmother's tales. "These are wards," he murmured, "to keep the Jinn at bay." His words only heightened the group's anxiety. They ventured deeper into the manor, unaware that the veil between their world and the supernatural was thinning. A sudden chill swept through the room, making their breaths visible in the dim light. Out of the silence, whispers began to emerge, faint at first but growing louder and more insistent. Sarah's torch flickered and then went out, plunging them into darkness. Panic surged as they fumbled for their phones, only for the screens to blink and die. "We need to leave," Omar urged, his voice trembling. But the shadows around them seemed to swell, blocking their path. In the pitch black, eyes watched them, glinting with an otherworldly light. The group was trapped, surrounded by an unseen presence. Sarah, shaking, held onto Omar. "What do we do?" she whispered. Omar, recalling his grandmother's words, began to chant an ancient prayer. The whispers grew louder, mingling with eerie, distant echoes and the howling wind outside. Moments later, a blinding light erupted, and Sarah saw them, the Jinn. Ethereal, shifting forms, their faces a blur of malevolence and sorrow. The light faded as quickly as it appeared, leaving a haunting silence behind. The manor seemed to sigh, as if releasing a breath it had held for centuries. The group stumbled out into the night, shaken but alive. They looked back at the manor, now silent and still. Omar turned to Sarah. "We were not meant to see that world." She nodded, the gravity of their encounter sinking in. The air seemed lighter outside, but the memory of the Jinn's whispers lingered. That night, they vowed never to speak of what they had seen. Yet, the experience bound them together, a group forever marked by their brush with the supernatural. As they walked away, the ancient ruins stood as a silent testament to the worlds beyond our own.